This video is why I keep people at a distance. I remember when I read it in the Bible about Jesus and his mother and family came to see him, and he said, "Who are my mother? Who are my family?" And what he meant was his mother and his brothers and sisters weren't his family. They were his biological connection with the human race, but they weren't his family. And his family is the spiritual family, those who come later. It's like you can have a family and you only get on with one brother or one sister, and all the rest you don't. Well, that's the one you keep with you through your life, or none. And I discovered, I've always been a bit of a loner anyway, but I discovered at a young age there were people I didn't like. I remember constantly being told by people, "Oh, but they're a good person. Oh, you like them. You just hang around with them a bit." And I'd say, no, it just didn't feel right. It felt like something wrong with the whole idea. And I didn't want to do it. And those people are people that you keep out of your life. The people that are not, not the type of people who are a good influence. So what I did, I developed this. I did it completely unintentionally. Um, it's like an atom or a nucleus or something. You have the circle, which is me, and then you have the outer circle and the outer circle and the outer circle. And our society teaches us to fit in, please everybody, try to be liked, try to be part of everything that's going on, try to be popular, try to be needed. And it kind of creates in the young people today a desperation to be needed and wanted and loved and all that sort of stuff. And so, or desperation to be popular amongst the crowd, an achiever and all that sort of stuff. So, what I did was I created these unintentionally, these kind of circle things where the people in the outer circle I had a certain amount to do with. And once I'd made up my mind about them, unless something really big happened, life changing, they stayed there in that outer circle. And I remember one of the work crews I worked with out at Kinleith in the Brockyard. It was so bad. All the guys were druggies, heavy drinkers, and also one was a Jehovah's Witness. And I got on with the Jehovah's Witness more than anyone else, and I wasn't religious at all. And it was simply because he didn't do what they did. And I could at least talk to him. I couldn't talk to the others. They were all trying to be cool, trying to be tough, trying to be the big man sort of thing. And they would brag about having sex with other women while their wives were at home. They'd brag about all the things they were doing, all that sort of stuff. And it was so bad on that job that I learnt to block them out mentally. And it was so bad on that job, one day I was reading, and then I just sort of snapped down my book. I was so involved in my book. I just throw myself into whatever reading material I had, because we did get called out to do jobs, and I'd be sitting there reading, and I'd forget. I'd drown it. I'd just turn off all the conversation in the room in my mind. And I'd sit there reading, and then one day I was reading, and I looked up, and I realised there was no one there. They'd all been called off to a job, and they clearly, as a joke, just walked out to see if I'd click, because it was obvious I wasn't like them. And so I went out and hello, what's the matter? The mother cat. She keeps losing her kittens around the house. It's all right, they're down in the lounge. You have to go and look for them. She loses the kittens and she gets all upset and starts walking around the house searching and seeking them. Maybe one goes behind a couch or a chair and she's all around the house searching for them. Anyway, that's a good mother should do. And I realised I was switching people off. And I could sit there in a room. I turn up at a place and with friends, and there'd be someone in that room I really disliked, and I wanted to just walk over and smack him in the face, and I'd just sit there like this, glaring at them like, and then I'd say, "No, James, the other people in the room are getting on with that person. I switch myself off that person." As people would talk, I'd listen, and I'd even hear what they said, but I I was detached from them, if that's the right word. So what you do is, what I discovered in life is, you detach yourself from the people that are not important to you. They may be, like the person in the room, important to the other people in the room. They may be even important to people you know and love, but they're not important to you. It's like I said years ago. If you try to get advice of someone, get advice of people who are like you, who think like you. If you get advice from someone who's like, you don't go to a prostitute for marriage advice. You don't go to a prostitute for sex advice. They'll tell you how to pleasure them, but it's all done in a very immoral, um, gross way. So you go to someone who's got a decent, loving marriage, and they're learning to work out their issues and their problems and learning to live with each other. Marriage and sex and stuff is very yucky and messy. And marriage is very messy because you have disagreements, arguments, slip ups, you make mistakes, you do dumb things, and you're driving home thinking, "What's my wife going to think when I tell her this?" And it should never be a case of, "Should I tell her?" You should tell her, because then you'll find out from someone else, and it's just not good. But I'm not talking about mucking around. If you muck around, where you're just killing your marriage. Um, when you have the circles and you detach yourself, you had detached people in layers and in degrees. And I've done this all completely unconsciously, subconsciously, without even realizing I was doing it. There are people I can work with and get on very well with, but only at work. As soon as I step out of the work environment, they're out of my life, gone, unless they ring or something. I will help people in every situation. I even help people who are like the people who've done the character assassination with the moves are broken down on the side of the road. I'll help them. Um, Helping people should be like love, unconditional. You try. And most times you'll find it's them that puts a limit on how much you can help them, not you. You're being a good person. You're trying. You're making an attempt, and that's fine. So, if you keep people at a distance, according to your character, kind of like when I said going bush, you find once you find out who you are, what you want to be, what you want your future to be, what you want your life to be, how you want to feel, how you want your lover to feel, what kind of marriage you want, and what kind of character you want to have, and what kind of character you hope your lover's going to be. Remember, you don't always get people who are healed. You might get someone who's broken. You're healed, and your job is to heal them, and from there, a beautiful romance. And what's it? So it goes on. Um, I can't remember what I was saying there, but when you have these degrees and these limit these you base it on your character, which is the nucleus, and from there you push people away intentionally and deliberately, and you don't feel guilty. I feel no guilt for it now. If I meet someone tomorrow and I've never known them before, and I get on with them, I'll always be cautious to a degree and get on with them. And there are very clever narcissists out there. You can know them a year and have no idea that they're a very evil person. So you push people away according to what you learn and what you the relationship you've had with that person. You push them back and don't ever feel guilty for it. your society has taught you to crave parties, to crave social. Well, I remember I rang up a dating line in 1996, 95, and I was very curious about it, and I was single, so I rang it, and they said, "Did you socialise?" And to me, socialising meant um, just hanging out with friends, no drugs or alcohol involved. And this girl said she was giving her um, details about herself. And she said, "Yes, I socialise. I'm partying every weekend and I love to go out and drink and party with my mates." And I thought, oh my gosh, that's socialising. And I thought, it's changed. And so socialising today is going out and getting wasted for many people. And that's what they call being social. Social to me means being with other people. And so you could use that as your guide too. See, I had a checklist for marriage. She has to not smoke, not drink, not do drugs, not be immoral, not be indecent, to love her children, to put the children first, and hope she'll love me too. I love her, and the same thing either side. I've never come across that, but and so when you have a list of that, you push part away everyone else. Now you might get someone who sneaks in and pretends they're like that, and so that happens. But in general, you you keep everyone else at a distance who's not that. So if you meet a woman and she's a smoker, now you might want to heal that person from smoking. You might reasonably like the character in that, but you find they don't want to change. So their character and what they accept and what you accept should be a sign of in their denial. You might say smoking's going to kill you, and they say no, it won't. Or drinking's going to be bad for our relation. No, it's not. It's been fine. There's a piece of people drinking, they're fine. You've got a whole world full of divorces and car accidents and murders and crime and beatings and domestic violence every single weekend from alcohol. The only reason it's legal is for the taxes for the government. They don't care if you kill and slaughter yourselves in mass every weekend when you get wasted. So you have to depart from the government thinking, and you have to depart from what society thinks. Anyway, so you have this list of what you want in a marriage partner, and no one else is allowed in. You have this list on what you want as a friend, but a friend's like a step out from the ring. A family, your spiritual family, are the people you want close to you. These are the ones who you want in your heart, you want who think like you, who have the same desires for the world for you as you, who you can sit down and have a conversation with and not worry about them spreading lies, telling stories and stuff like that. You just get on with them in a very relaxed way, and you're not scared of what you'll say. You don't hold things back from them. You don't lie. You don't trick them. You don't deceive them. They don't do the same to you. These are the close people you have to your heart. Then there's the next step who are your friends. Then you have your casual friends. And then you have the people that's just not going to work with. And you keep them at a distance, whether you work with them in employment or if they're some kind of family connection where they keep coming into your life and stuff like that. So you push these people out, and then you've created this inner circle that's you. Now your inner circle, like sets and subsets and stuff, they're connected with others, groups, and that's fine. And if someone leaves your inner circle because they want to, then that's fine. And if you nudge someone out of your inner circle, that's fine too. See, the thing is people trying to tell you what to accept, who you should have, what you should be, and who you should accept in your life, according to what they believe, what they feel, and what their character is. It's not according to you. So, as soon as you stop listening to other people telling you how to live, what to accept, who your friends should be, what entertainment is, what fun is, and da da da, and find your own. To me, fun is finding a project, putting it together. Something pops in my head, putting it together, and then putting it on Facebook. I mean, my website, and then to me, that's a thrill. Um, Harvesting from the garden's a thrill. This morning I spent an hour outside with the mother cat and the kittens. The three kittens are running around in the grass and climbing over stuff, and I'm just sitting there sipping a coffee watching them. And that to me is fun. And if it's not fun for the party goers and the druggies and the alcoholics and the gangs and the politicians and the rest of the world, I'm so fine with that. It just doesn't bother me that no one enjoys what I enjoy. It's nice to have a companion who believes the same thing and will enjoy that same thing. But if you don't have it, what we need to do in life is learn to enjoy ourselves and what we've created for ourselves that relaxes us. Like last night I went to a school and there was it 5 very big guys and dark guys, and they kept doing gang signs to me, and I don't know what they are, the gang signs and stuff like that. And I just put my thumbs up and said, "Hi guys," and they started laughing. And I walked around and checked the school. When I came back out, they started saying something. I couldn't remember what it was, and I walked around. I was walking around the building with my torch, and I came around the other side, which is what that's a normal path I do. And when I came around the other side, I came around behind them, and they were sneaking around the building, and they were going to, heaven knows what they were going to do to me. They thought I'd carried on down the building, but I actually come around behind them. And then one of them saw me behind them and goes, "Oh!" And he got afraid. And I cracked up laughing. And they all turned around and they saw me. And then one of them filmed me for Facebook or something. So if there's a video out there of a security guard walking around Strathmore School, and it was me. I have no idea what they were going to do and what that was all about. But the whole time I interact with people in the dark, I'm not afraid. And I don't shake. I don't feel any fear. I don't sweat. But prior to that, in 2004, I couldn't even walk into a supermarket without my heart thumping, sweating, sometimes crying. I have to sit there, wipe my eyes because tears would keep pouring out. And it was agoraphobia. Today, I can do the same, far worse things, scarier things than that, and it doesn't bother me in the slightest. I don't feel anything. I could get weary and say, well, how's this going to turn out? And what am I going to do? What moves I'm going to do? What things I'm going to do? But other than that, it's just life. And I believe the relaxed lifestyle I have and living the life I want to live my way and excluding the world is why I'm so calm. I am who I am, and I, in a desperate situation, I might panic. We all like to believe that if you see a truck coming down a hill and there's a child on the road, that we're going to run and snatch the child up and save the child. But we don't know very well in real life. I've read of many stories where people have just stood there and watched a person in a horrendous situation when they could have helped and they didn't. I know of a case where Thomas Edison, when he was about 13 or 14, he saw a child on the railway track, and everyone in the town, well, not even the town, but a whole lot of people standing there, because back then trains were, it was about probably 1930s, maybe 20s or something like that. And the steam train was thundering into town, And everyone was just staring at the baby on the railway track. And 14-year-old Thomas Edison just sprinted as fast as he could, whipped the child up, and the train just missed them. So you like to believe in situations like that you'll do that. No, I like to believe I would too, but you don't know until it happens. Many people will tell you that they thought they'd react in a certain way and they didn't, and that's a big disappointment. So, but your calmness and your relaxed state is what gives you a lot of courage. It gives you a lot of faith in yourself, a lot of faith in God, a lot of faith in life, and a lot of faith in your inner circle, because those are the people who are you, especially your marriage partner. That person is you, and you are that person. And there's no value in or devaluing them over sex. You're not so cheap that you'd say, well, the sex hasn't been good for 6 months, I'm going to have sex with someone else. You'd never do that. So you don't devalue people over their sexual activity. Everyone has downsides, illnesses, sicknesses, and bad times. You know, when the person is you and you're that person, the connection is far greater than anything like that. It's deep, it's personal. You know so much about each other. It's like you're one, and so that's your deepest inner circle. That's your closest person, of which you're together for each other as long as each other's life. And it could be short. I've known of people who've married a person and they've died 5 years later, but it's a person who'll always remember for the rest of their life. And they say, if I had never met that person, my life wouldn't be so good as it is now. And when they marry again, they're a much better, a much in tune person. And the next marriage is wonderful. It's not as good as that one, but it's still wonderful. So it's not how long you've loved and not how long you've been together. It's the spiritual connection, the interaction, to two amazing characters, and it's also how your character changes from that person and what your character becomes being with that person and waking up each day with that person, and their positiveness, their compassion, their encouragement, their love, their all those things are far greater than the cheap things of life and materialism and the like. So I push people away so I can be me. I keep them at a subconscious distance without even realizing I was doing it, so that I can be the person I am, develop as the person I want to be without any of their interference, without any of their guidance, without any of them telling me how to do it. And if I'm interested in something, I study it, I find out about it. If I want to do things in a certain way, I'll do it in that certain way. At the moment, I've bought a watering system for rainwater. I've got a filtering system, and most of the water I'm going to use in the house is going to be rainwater. So, and it's going to be clear and fresh and healthy, not like the tap water, which is fluoride. And often in the summer, my tap water is white, and that's the chlorine. When the chlorine reacts with something in the water that's not good, like a dead animal or something, the water goes white because the chlorine is trying to clean it. But that just means in every glass of water you drink in the tap, there's chlorine in it, and there's fluoride in it, and whatever else the council decides to put in it. So I want fresh, clean rainwater. And so that's something I want to try. It's something I want to do. And so I'm spending the money and putting it together because that's what I want. Imagine doing life because that's what you want. There are so many things out there in the world you can do and you can have fun with that the crowd around you are not interested in. So, if they're not interested in something you're wanting to do right now, push them out. Don't be scared. Don't feel insecure. Don't feel you're wronging them. When the crowd's concerned, when you're out of their life, they'll find someone else. They always do. That's what the crowd's like. The crowd's needy. It's insecure. It's desperate for friends. And it'll pick at you and put you down because you're not like them. Just push them away. Find someone who's like you. And that becomes you in a circle. Your real, true family. And then together you do those things. Like if I found a woman right now and she'd say, "Yes, I'm really into that. I'm really into this health stuff. Fresh food. I don't. I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat animals. Um, I'm into gardening and all that sort of stuff. Those are on my positive list." And she'd move in, and then together we'd set up the watering system. Together we'd learn how to go off the grid. Together we'd spend many nights laying in bed talking about our plans for the future. You know, what we're going to do, what we're going to put in the garden next year, what we're going to try next year, and we'll sit down with lists and pads and work out what we're going to do. So that's your kind of person, and so push away. If you push away, like I have, the people that influence you in a negative way, who are not part of your character, then a whole new world opens up for you to be what you can be and who you can be and what you can enjoy and all these fantastic, amazing things happen. I mean, you get a teenager who's 15. He just found out drugs. He's into been drinking for a couple of years. He's got multiple sex partners. He's starting to get into violence and crime. His future does not include all the amazing, wonderful things the world has to offer. And that's the point. The point is this world was given to us as a gift to totally enjoy, to choose whatever you want to be, to choose whatever you want to have, to choose the things through free will that you'd like to put together, plan, make, create, invent, the adventures you want to have, the excitement, and all this sort of stuff. When a person gets in that party, druggy, alcohol type lifestyle, they get stuck in a rut and they can't get out for years. That person could change at 45 or never. Most of the people I know like that from my childhood never changed. They stayed like that for life. And that's because they didn't push away the influences that were keeping them like that. They got in the rut, became familiar, and they stayed like that. So the thing for us to do is to push away all the people who aren't who we have imagined we want to be, like how we wanted to be as a child. When you have those little dreams of, I want to marry, if you're a female, I want to marry a man, have a house in the country, big gardens, children. You know, have that dream. It's not a fantasy. That is your original dream when you're a child. Then your life was supposed to be bringing that together. But the interference of high school, parties, drinking, alcohol, moral activities just knocks it all out of you. By the age of 20, you're either doing that or recovering a mental illness or some kind of drug addiction or whatever it is. And the dream you had as a child is gone. It can come back, but you have to be woken out of the misery. You've been the social system, your friends, the social connections, the socializing has locked you into. You've got to get out of that. And when you get out of that, you discover there's so much in the world you can enjoy and you can try. Every now and then there's something that comes up. And I think, I always wanted to say welding. I think I've always wanted to do welding. So I've gone and buy a welder and then sit down and spend the next 6 weeks playing with it and think, do I want to keep doing this? If I don't, I sell it. But if I do want to keep doing it, I keep doing it. I have fun. I enjoy myself. And it's fun doing all these things. And it's fun if you have a companion who wants to do it with you. Whatever it is. Yeah, and I firmly believe in if I had a wife who wanted to weld, I'd highly encourage her to do it. And I'd sew with her. And Maybe I wanted to take up knitting, so she and I would knit together. I don't go for the macho, feminine thing. I do think a woman should be feminine because it's the most beautiful thing about a woman. She's not a man. She shouldn't try to be a man, but she can still do these activities while being feminine and enjoying, each other's company while you do things together. So. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. God bless you. And that's why I push people away. And I have no regrets and no doubts about it. And I'm not worried if it hurts their feelings. It doesn't bother me in the slightest because that's their journey. My journey is looking after me first and then looking after those who I can look after, who want to be looked after, who might seek me for help. And the others, they do their own thing. So don't feel guilty about it, pushing anyone out of your life. God bless you.